Today we are going to focus on our hearts. So we're going to do some heart openers, and we're also going to get our heart pumping a little bit at some point throughout today's class. So this is very important at this stage of our lives, as the increased risk of heart disease in women peri and post menopause increases significantly. So we're going to get started. Let's start in child's pose. So let's bring your toes together, knees wide. Bring your hips down towards your heels and start by just reaching your fingertips out long and let your head drop to the mat. And then I'm going to let my elbows drop down to the mat, bringing my palms together and reaching my palms behind my prayer hands behind my head. So this already starts with bringing that chest opener. I mean, child's pose alone is really a chest opener. But bringing my hands behind my head like this just deepens that a bit. And taking 2 more breaths here as we begin our class and our movement practice together. And release your hands, bringing them back out in front of you and coming up to all fours. And bring your knees in beneath your hips, wrists stacked below the shoulders. We're going to get right into it here. So let's I'm going to tuck my left toes and reach my right leg out behind me, about hip height, pointing the toes towards the mat, pressing the heel away from the body, and reaching my left arm up alongside my ear. So as you're doing this, just pressing your fingertips of your right palm into the mat, your toes of your left foot, your knee of your left leg are your support. They are your grounding right now. Taking, as you breathe in, reaching those left fingertips forward, your right heel back. Squeezing, hugging everything into the midline. So trying not to let your ribs flare, but corset your belly and your ribs in. One more deep breath in, reaching out in both directions, and then exhale. Replace your hand, replace your foot. And we got right into it there. So let's do it the other side. Tucking your right toes underneath, bringing your left foot behind you, pressing the heel away. Your leg is at hip height. And just feel where you are now, and when you are ready, lift your right arm up alongside your right ear and notice where you are. Your fingertips should be pressed into the mat of your left hand. Fingertips, finger pads. Your right knee and toes are supporting you, grounding you. Left heel is pressing far away, right fingertips reaching towards the front of the mat. Pulling your belly into your spine, tuck your tail. One more deep breath in. And exhale, release your hands, release your knee, and come back to child's pose just for a breath. Moving back up to all fours, tuck your toes and press yourself back to downward facing dog. Maybe pedal through the feet if that feels good, just to start that movement. Even swinging your hips side to side as you do it. Let's bring your right heel up towards the sky. Bending the knee, bringing it into the chest, and stepping that foot in between your hands, fingertips on the mat, framing that right foot. And try to walk that left foot out a little bit longer. I'm going to just really feel this low lunge, keeping your chest rested on your thigh. Feeling the stretch way through the front of the left hip, left thigh. And then place your hands back down onto the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath. And kick your left heel up towards the sky. Reaching the heel as high as you can. Bend the knee. Bring the knee towards the chest. Step it between the hands. Rest your chest on that left thigh. And walk back. Kind of wiggle the toes back of the right leg. Just enhancing that stretch. Nice long, low lunge. Pressing your palms back down into the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. And then let's feel through the dog. So your fingers are gripping into the mat. Rolling your biceps towards the front of the mat. Squeezing together towards your ears. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and press away so that your belly is coming towards your thighs. And let's see the bottom half of the body. So let's come up onto high toes, bend your knees, and stick your butt up towards the sky. Keeping your fingertips pressed, your arms squeezing in towards your ears, your shoulder blades squeezing together down your back, and then press your heels towards the mat. But keeping the butt, your hips, your butt, you're as the highest point of the pose here. So even if your knees remain bent, that's okay. And then slowly walk your feet towards the front of the mat. Take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And then let your chest rest on your thighs again, even if it means your knees are bent. And grab opposite elbows if that feels good. And maybe even pull down a little bit just to kind of create a little bit of attraction. And just hang. And then release your hands back down onto the mat. And slowly, very slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time, coming to stand. Arms along your side, but broaden through the chest. So kind of take your shoulders, reaching your shoulders up towards your ears, and then rolling them back down your back. So a nice broad chest as you stand. Feet about hip width distance apart, arms, palms open along your side. And let's reach our arms up overhead and then pull them down into goalpost arms. So goalpost, cactus, whatever you want to call them. So where both elbows are bent and your fingertips are reaching towards the side, elbows are away from the body. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together. And we're going to go through a few rounds of breath like this, reaching up and down. So taking a deep inhale, reach your fingertips up. And then exhale, open up the chest. A little bit of a back bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Elbows down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, back to goalpost. 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back to goalpost. 1 more, reach up. Inhale, back to goalpost arms. And just breathe here for a moment. And then release your arms by your sides, standing at the top of your mat. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up overhead, and bring your palms to heart center. Maybe close your eyes and take a breath or two before we move on. And then take a breath in, reaching your arms up, and then sit your butt back into chair. So arms up alongside your ears, chest open wide, tail tucked under, straight, nice straight spine here. Maybe sinking into your chair a little bit deeper. Taking 2 more breaths here. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. And then exhale, step back with your right foot, framing your left foot with your hands. And then pressing in to the right hand, bring your left hand to your left hip and start to turn your torso towards your bent left knee, reaching your left fingertips up to the sky for a twist. Deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in. And then exhale. You can very gently kind of bring yourself to warrior 2. So we're going to drop that left hand back down to the mat, swivel the right heel down, and then cartwheel your arms up into your warrior 2 position. So let's sink in to that front thigh. Back leg is pressed towards straight, kind of pressing to the back of the room. And your back foot is in line or maybe slightly turned in from the back of the mat. Take a deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. Let's sink a little bit deeper in to that bend. Okay, and then we're going to take your hands, put them on your waist, and then turn that left foot facing forward. So now both your feet are facing forward. And just take a breath. And now we're actually going to turn both feet out to the side. We're going to go into a goddess pose. So let's, again, like just leaving your hands on your hips, just start to sink your knees towards bent, trying to track them over your toes. And take a breath here. And maybe even like kind of, I'm taking my, both of my hands on the inner thighs and just kind of pressing them out, opening up through my chest. Just feeling that stretch up all along both inner thighs. And then we're going to take that goalpost breath again. So let's bring our arms up into goalpost, chest upright into the goddess. But as we breathe in, as we do the breath, every time we bring our arms up, we'll straighten our legs too, just to give ourselves a little bit of a break here. So let's take a deep breath in, reaching up, straightening the legs, and then exhale, opening up through the chest and bending back into goddess. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bend elbows and knees. 3 more times, reaching up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, come back down. I don't know how many I did, but we're going to do one more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come back down and hold in your goddess. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And breathe. And then let's straighten your legs. Bring your hands back down to your hips. And then we're going to turn the left foot out so that it's parallel or slightly turned in, and turn your right toes out so that it's facing the back of your mat. And swiveling down into your low lunge. So I'm going to flip my left heel off the mat, pressing down into my left palm. I'm sorry, now I'm not sure if I did left and right appropriately. So right foot is forward, left heel is up and on the back of the mat, left palm is down, right hand to right hip, and let's turn your torso towards your bent right leg, reaching your right fingertips up to the sky for a couple of breaths. One more deep breath in, and then exhale, bringing that right hand back down to the mat, swiveling the back heel back down, and then coming up for warrior two on the right. So sinking deeply into your right leg. Left leg is straight out behind you. When you're in your warrior poses, you also want to think about all your weight is not in that front leg. It should be distributed as evenly as possible to both legs. So taking a few deep breaths in. Sometimes holding this is really like just getting your heart pumping without even moving. So pressing your left thigh back towards the back of the room. Let's take a deep breath in. Let's sink a little bit deeper into that right thigh. And let's bring our hands to our hips, pointing both feet forward onto the mat. So you're standing wide leg on your mat. And then I'm going to point, we're going to go back to the other side here. So pointing my left toes out to the front of the mat. Right foot is parallel to the back. And let's drop back into the warrior two. So bending into that left knee. Arms reached out into a T. Take a deep breath. And exhale, sink a little bit deeper. One more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to press that leg towards straight, reaching your left fingertips forward and dropping your left hand to your shin, to your thigh, or to a block on the outside edge of your foot. Reach your right fingertips up towards the sky and roll that right shoulder blade down your back. You're going to tuck your left butt cheek over under. Squeeze the muscles on your thighs to your bone, like hug them into your bone. You want to make this as active a pose as possible. And in fact, if you want to play with it a little bit, release the hand. Like, don't let the hand hold your shin or a block, just release it. And you're kind of going to take this action of squeezing your legs in toward each other just to keep yourself steady. I'm shaking like a leaf. Oh my gosh. Okay, so right hand to right hip. Let's bend back into that front knee and bring both toes facing forward. And then opposite side. So right toes pointing towards the back of the mat, left foot along parallel to the back edge of the mat, and let's sink into our warrior two on the right again. Okay, so my torso is going to try to be balanced over, like it's not going to be leaning towards the bent knee. Let's try to keep it centered. Arms reached out into a T, looking out over your right fingertips. And breathe and hold and maybe sink a little bit deeper, tucking your right butt cheek under, taking a nice deep breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, and then bring that right leg towards straight. Reach your right fingertips forward and then dropping your hand onto your shin, your thigh, or a block. Reach your left fingertips up towards the sky. Tuck, keeping the tuck of your right butt cheek underneath you. Opening up towards the chest. So you're going to let your left shoulder blade kind of slide down your back to open up a little bit more through the chest here. Squeezing the muscles of your legs, hugging them together. And if you wanted to try like releasing your right hand from any support to kind of give your Self a little bit of extra work to do today. Yay, work. One more deep breath in and exhale, bringing your left hand to your left hip, bringing yourself upright, toes both facing forward. I just need to work out. I'm going to shake my hips a little bit. Woo! Try to work that out. Okay, so keeping a wide leg, I'm going to hinge forward at the hips, so sticking my butt back, bringing my fingertips down to the mat or maybe a block in front of you if that's what you need. Again, my butt's sticking out right now. The hinge is only at the hip, and my spine is straight from my tailbone to my crown right now. So taking a deep breath in and then exhale, fold forward, keeping that straight spine. Again, tail to crown is supposed to be, you keep it straight rather than rounding through it. Just taking a deep breath in, feeling this nice stretch along the back of both thighs. Inhale, lift up halfway, and then exhale, fold again. Inhale, lift up halfway. Bend the knees, point the toes, bring your hands to your thighs or your hips, and then just come back upright. Okay, so right now we're going to go into some balances. So coming towards really just a stable point on your mat. And if you're practicing outside like me, that's not always easy to find. And I'm going to use my block for this piece of it as well. So putting my block about, 6 or so inches in front of where my foot's going to be. Let's figure out where my foot's going to be. And okay, so my left foot is forward. I'm going to just step my right foot back a little bit, like halfway back from the mat. Start to bend very gently into the front left knee as I lift up my right leg behind me. Bringing my left hand to the block, opening up the left hip, opening up the right hip so that my right hip stacks on top of my left, flexing my foot so I'm kicking that foot back behind me, finding a point that will help keep you stable, something that's not moving, and reaching your hand up to the sky, right fingertips up to the sky. You can either stay here or you can drop out of it, or I'm going to move a little bit further. So I'm going to bend that right knee and bring it into my chest and take my right hand and grab that ankle and then start to press the left knee away from me again, pulling my right foot behind my butt for this other somewhat chest opening pose, seeing how far I can open or not. And then when you are ready, release that grip, slowly coming out of it, bringing that right foot back down to meet the left. And I'm going to just drop into a forward fold for a moment and let your head hang. Maybe swivel it around a little bit. And then slowly rolling up to stand. And then we'll do that on the other side. So it's Ardha Chandrasana and then Ardha Chapa Chandrasana. So again, trying to find a stable place to put my foot. And we'll see how this goes on the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna, right foot is where I'm standing onto, stepping back with my left, only a little bit. Start to hinge forward at the hips, keeping that right knee slightly bent, placing my right palm onto that block at any height that you need, and lifting my left foot behind me. this isn't a good spot for me. Lift the left leg up behind you, open up the hips so you're stacking your left hip over your right, finding a place for your gaze that's not moving to just help you focus. And when you're ready, bringing your left fingertips up to the sky, kicking back through that left heel. Your toes are pointing out in front of you. They're not pointing towards the mat. And then if you wanted to take that Chapasana piece of the pose, bringing your left knee into your chest and grabbing your left ankle with your hand, and then start to press away with the knee, bringing your foot behind your butt and opening up through the chest. So with your standing leg, you want to just be pressing down with it firmly with all four corners of the feet, hugging the muscle to bone, and then seeing about opening up through the chest. Whew, not as much on this side for me, huh? And then when you're ready, releasing the ankle, dropping it back down. Right foot meets left. Can get the block out of the way. Forward fold. And let your head hang, yes, no. And then slowly rolling up to stand. And if you're not at the top of your mat, come to the top of your mat. Take an inhale and reaching up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, place your palms down onto the mat. Step back to plank. Slowly lower down, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Point your toes. And let's come to a sphinx for a couple of breaths. So bringing your arms, your forearms in front of you, elbows beneath your shoulders, palms flat down on the mat. Press your pelvis down into the mat so that you're taking some of the pressure off of your lower back. Press the tops of your feet into the mat and energetically kind of pull your forearms back toward you. So you're not really like moving them, you're just kind of pulling them so that you're pulling your chest through your shoulders. And just take a few breaths in your Sphinx pose. One more deep breath in. Pelvis pressed down, tops of your feet pressed down. And exhale, bringing your palms at the base of your ribs, tuck your toes, coming up through all fours to downward facing dog. Let's kick your right heel up towards the sky. Bend the knee and open up the hip. So stack that right hip on top of the left. And then let's swing that shin parallel to the front of the mat for pigeon. And when I say parallel, I don't actually mean it. So just that your right knee is to your right wrist and your right ankle is toward your left wrist. Back toes can be tucked or untucked. I like to tuck them, lengthen through a little bit just to give more space into this stretch. And then take a breath. And you can either, for your pigeon, either stay up on your palms, come down to your forearms or forearms on a block. Back toes can be left tucked or untucked. And just breathe and release any tension in your hips right now. Letting that go. And as we wind down, I hope you were able to get your heart rate up a bit and that it is now starting to come back. Maybe not quite to normal, but we'll get there. And come back up onto your palms if you're not already there. Tucking the back toes and press yourself back up to downward facing dog. And let's kick your right heel up towards the sky. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Stack that left hip over the right, pressing into your right palm just to keep your shoulders a little bit more towards square in the front of the mat. And then when you're ready, swinging that shin towards the front of the mat to go toward parallel. Lengthen out through the back leg, tuck that back toe, lift up the back knee, and kind of bring your butt closer to the ground. And then again, you can point or flex your toes from there, staying up on your palms or coming down onto forearms. And release. And if you want, if it feels good, maybe even moving your hips side to side. Or just stay where you are. Just a couple of more deep breaths here. And when you're ready, coming back up onto your palms. Tuck your back toes. Press up to downward facing dog. And just pedal your feet out for a breath or two. And then drop your knees, and we're going to come to a seated position. So just cross your legs if that's comfortable for you. And we're going to do one more round of those goalpost breaths from seated this time. So take a deep breath in, and then bring your arms down into that cactus goalpost shape. And let's just set it up first. So your arms are both in a 90-degree angle, fingertips pointing towards the sky, squeezing your shoulder blades together so your chest is kind of just puffing out. And then as we take an inhale, we'll reach the fingertips up. Exhale back down, squeezing the shoulder blades together and down. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze together and down. Going through 3 more rounds at your breath, at your pace. One more deep breath in. And then coming back to goalpost, hold, squeeze. Take a nice deep breath in, puff up your chest, and then release your arms down along your side. Okay, let's take a deep breath in, reach your arms up over your head just for a second, turn your torso to the left, drop your right hand on your left knee, left hand behind you looking out over your left shoulder for a twist. Deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in, coming back up through center. And then turning your torso over to the other side, right hand behind you, left hand on your knee. Looking out over your right shoulder, just for a few breaths. And then let's come back up through center and release your arms down and come onto your back. And we'll just do a couple of bridges on our back. So bring your heels in close towards your hips. Maybe your fingertips touch them, maybe they don't. Either way is okay. I'm gonna take the tops of my arms alongside of my torso, pointing my fingertips and forearms up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, pushing down into the back of my arms, into my heels, lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So you're gonna bring your chest towards your face, so kind of like bringing your chest towards your chin, but then you wanna push the back of your head into the mat so that your chin is kind of going away from your chest. And if you'd like, curl your shoulder blades underneath your back and clasp your hands beneath you. So here we're still pressing into our heels, pressing your hips up towards the sky. Knees, you want to try to watch that they don't splay out, so squeezing them in toward each other, not touching, but just toward each other. Taking a nice deep breath in, puffing up through the chest. And exhale, still pressing into your heels, hips high. Inhale, puff. And then exhale, if your hands are clasped, release the clasp, release your shoulders, and start to very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll your spine back down onto the mat. And just stay here for a breath or two. And we'll do that one more time. So just if you're lost position here, bringing your heels somewhat close to your hips. Fingertips may tickle them or not. Arms, tops of your arms alongside your torso, fingertips, forearms pointing towards the sky. Press down through your heels as you, start with an inhale. And then as you exhale, press down through your heels and slowly rolling your pelvis up towards the sky. And if you're taking the clasp, rolling one shoulder blade at a time underneath, and then clasping your hands. Pressing through the heels, pushing through the pelvis, squeezing your knees in toward each other. Deep breath, puff up the chest, chest to chin, chin away from the chest. Keeping all of those points of action in line, pressing the heels, pushing the hips, knees toward each other. Puff up the chest, back of the head into the mat. And when you are ready, releasing the shoulders, releasing the clasp, arms alongside, one vertebrae down at a time. And let's take your knees wide and take your feet wide and let your knees knock into each other. Just rest your hands on your belly and just feel your breath. And let's bring your knees into your chest, just hugging them in. And let's go into a happy baby, taking your arms to the inside of your legs, reaching your hands to grab the outside edge of your foot, and start to pull your feet down. So you're trying to kind of force your knees into your armpits. Maybe even take your legs a little bit wider if that feels good, or narrower if that feels good. Rocking side to side if that feels good. And then slowly lowering your legs down. And you can either do just a regular Shavasana here where you are, legs are out long, arms are along your side, or you can take a blanket or towel if you have something nearby. And I'm going to just fold it in a little bit because I want to try to open up with a little bit of a chest opener too. So kind of where my shoulder blades meet. That's where I want to lay down onto this raised space. Just for a little bit, and then in those cactus goalpost arms, I'm going to lay down like that. So my legs are out straight, and this may be too much for your back, so don't do it if it hurts. But just because we're kind of doing a little bit of a heart opening, I thought we would end this way. And just see how you feel. Take notice of, the different points in the practice today and how each of them made you feel. Whether it was the heart opening points of the practice or the heart pumping points of the practice. Just noticing where you are now. And if you have the towel or the blanket behind you, behind your shoulder blades, and that's too much, feel free to just remove it at any time. And you can feel free to stay here as long as you like, or if you are ready to come out, maybe doing like a nice first thing in the morning stretch, pointing your toes, reaching your arms up alongside your ears, just wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, pulling them in opposite directions, and then on the exhale, hugging your knees into your chest, rolling over to your right side, cradling your head into your bent right arm. And take a breath here for a moment or two. And pressing into your left palm, gently bringing yourself up to a seat. Coming up to a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. And let's just take a couple of deep breaths together. Let's do some sighing breaths. So just gently rest your palms on your thighs. And we will take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, take a sigh, open mouth sigh. So let's inhale together through the nostrils. One more time, inhale through the nostrils and sigh it out. And bring your palms to heart center. I hope this practice got your blood pumping just a little bit and maybe opened your heart to possibility. I thank you for joining me today for Movement in Menopause. Namaste.